Hi, I'm Doug Forrest. I'm going to be your physics teacher this year. I want to introduce myself, give you a little bit of background about me, and within the first week or so of the course, I'm going to ask you to submit a brief video letting me know a little bit about you, maybe a questionnaire as well. So, um, just to give you a little bit of background, like I said, my name is Doug Forrest. I have taught this is my 27th year in the Pickerington Local School District. It's the only place I've taught full time. I didn't end up starting out life as a teacher. So I never thought I'd be a teacher until actually a couple years after I graduated college. My undergraduate degree is in molecular genetics, and I worked for a couple years down at a research lab at University of Cincinnati. One of the things about that I didn't like is the lack of interactions with people. The best part of that job that I had for the couple of years I had it was actually training incoming graduate students on how to use certain types of equipment and procedures and things like that. So that was really what got me thinking about teaching. So I went back, I got my teaching license, and I started teaching in Pickerington way back in the day. I may have had some of your parents, so back in 1994. So after I've been teaching, though, I also worked for about 20 years part time as a lab uh, technician or as a research microbiologist. So I did that on weekends and in the summers. I think that's actually kind of important because I'll be honest with you, I think a lot of science, as it's been taught, is not really focused on what's important. And a huge part of understanding science is filtering out what's important from all the rest of the crap. And I can tell you, having worked over 20 years as a scientist, there are some things that are really important which aren't stressed enough. And there are things which we do in science classes in school which are very unrealistic. And I'm going to try to teach you the way that I think would allow you to think scientifically for the rest of your life and understand how science works as best we can. So that's pretty cool. A little bit about my background. I have had season tickets to the Cleveland Browns. Oh my God. I can't do that with the glasses on. Since 19, ooh, 90? I think 1990. It's been a whole lot of losing. I have had them through their 0-16 year. Um, it's been pretty difficult, but you can't say that I'm not loyal, and I will stick by you. If I've stuck by those Cleveland Browns for all those years, I will stick by you as students through thick and thin. Um, the best thing I think about teaching is the students I've had. I've been really blessed to have a lot of great students over the years. And I'm thinking that you're going to be another one of those students. And I really mean that. This isn't the way we necessarily would want to start a school year, but I guarantee you we're going to have a great year and it's going to improve as time goes on. I'm certain that by the end of the year we will have in person instruction as well, at least at some point, and we're going to get to know each other really well. So I like interacting with students. I hope you're going to want to interact with me as part of this class. One of the things that we'll do early in the year is I'll have you each fill out a brief form online called Two Truths and a Lie. And it's actually kind of fun to see if we can guess what people did certain things and whether they're truths or a lie. Um, like I said, I want to just briefly again thank you for um, being part of a physics class. It's an elective class and nobody has to take that. So I'll work my darndest to help you develop a better understanding about the world around you. And if you need physics for your post high school life, like if you're going into architecture or medicine or engineering or things like that, I'm going to try to give you a good background with that. We're going to start with things like scientific methodology, data collection, lab skills, graphing, stuff like that. But I think we're going to hit them a bit differently than you've ever done before. Most students find that scientific methodology actually really eye-opening compared to what they've had in other classes. So this will be attached to part of the syllabus, and I'm also going to go tell you a little bit about some things on my website and Google Classroom and things like that. Other personal background, I don't have kids. I'm not married. I do have two sisters. Um, one lives in Canada, one lives in Florida, and except for this year when travel is restricted, that's great. I always go on spring break usually to visit my sister in Florida, and up in the summer to visit my sister in Canada. They live right across the street from a nice river leading into Lake Erie, and it is beautiful to go boating up there. Hopefully, I'll get to do that. One of the things I really do like to do um, outside is go on my bicycle. So, got a new bike a little over a year ago, and I've put over 2,000 miles on it since then. My goal this year, 2020, is to put 2,000 miles on during this calendar year. I think I'm going to get it. So the next couple brief video clips are just showing you um, a little bit about where I've gone this summer. One of the things that is kind of cool, and the reason I like to go biking is I think it clears my mind. So I understand that online instruction is different for us, and sometimes you just have to step back and clear your mind. Standing in front of a monitor or sitting in front of a monitor for hours each day is really difficult for me. I know it's difficult for a lot of students too. So I'm going to encourage you to do some things which will allow you to be physically active, be mentally active, and I hope you're going to be engaged in class. Anyhow, a couple other clips, and then I'll add on a tour of my website and Google Classroom at the end. Hi. Well, one of the things I really like to do in the summer is get out and ride my bike. And I am all sweaty now. Goal I have every year is to ride at least 1 mile on a ride in a day, older than I am. So I turned 52 last year, and this year, today, I'm about at 55 miles. So that's the first time this year, 2020, I've done that. I really like getting outside. It's beautiful. This route is actually by Reynoldsburg's Summit High School, but I go all over the place. If you ever see a red bike like that, give me some room and know that that's my happy place in the summertime. Thanks. This ride after I did that one was long. This is the Newark to Johnstown bike trail. You go the whole length. Don't take any side trips. It's about, I don't know, 36 miles total round trip. Helps me be in my happy place, so it's a nice summer day. I want to do a quick tour of my websites. These are ones from the 2019-2020 school year, so they may look a little bit different. So this is Google Classroom. So what we'll do early in the year is I'll give you a code to my particular Google Classroom. I'm not sure yet whether I'm going to do one Google Classroom per section of physics. I know I'm going to have 3 sections, or one for the whole group. Probably if we're doing remote instruction at the beginning of the year, we're going to do one for the whole group because that'll allow more feedback and interaction with everybody. And maybe you have some friends in other classes who'd be good to collaborate with. And if we have at least part of the time where we're face to face at the beginning of the year, I'll probably do one Google Classroom per section. That way it'll allow us to be a little more personal with people who we know from our individual class. But anyhow, I'll do something like this. I'll pop that up here. So I'll probably do some things a little differently than I did at the end of last year. I will have classwork here, and all the classwork will have days that they're due. Sometimes there'll be times that they're due as well, and that'll be pretty clear. So in the stream itself, I'll put usually a weekly syllabus on. I'll put videos on of me if I'm doing a tutorial or things like that. I usually will put sometimes prompt questions from labs and hopefully prompt a discussion where people can reply in the Google Stream, something like that. So remember, you can reply here or post things that will allow you to talk to the whole class, or you could have a private comment where you ask just me things. Another place that we'll go is Remind, and we'll be using that as well this year. So early on, I'm going to give you a code to sign up, and I don't know why that's being that way. So it'll probably be physics here, and again, there'll be a code. It's usually really easy to join. Most people have it pushed to their phone, so that way, either if you've got the app on the phone, you'll get notifications, or if you just have the app push notifications to your text, you don't even need the app. And there's different ways to show people how to join and things like that. And I'll give you an electronic handout, something like that. So that should be pretty easy to use. It's great because I can either communicate with you as a whole class, a smaller group of people, or as individuals. So these are some people from last year who are on here. Next, if we do standards-based grading, you're going to want to know how to access that. So we'll be using something called SBG Book. And if you type that in, it's the first thing will pop up here. And I will give you a code to use and get you initially logged into that. But that'll happen after our discussion on grading, assuming that you do want to use standards-based grades. My instinct is you probably will, because that's something that people have wanted to do the last 2 years. And the first year especially, I was really skeptical. Students liked it. Both years I've used it, so it's getting better and better. Finally, since parents can't access Google Classroom, I'm going to also put a fair amount of my information on my website. This is what I used actually last year a lot until the shutdown. So it's just, if you type in Pick Physics, all one word, I am the #1 site for Pick Physics. So I'll have some information up here. Obviously, this is for last year. There'll be a page here, a little bit about me, and then a page for each of my courses. Current syllabus will be posted up here, so parents can see what we're doing and they can see when things are due. I don't know why that's doing that. Okay, there's that. Well, I will have to look at that. I have files here. So normally that syllabus will pop up, but I also put it here where you can look at it. And this will be for a 1 week to 2 week period. So I'll have things like that. It'll be very clear what's happening and when things are due, along with ways you can get in contact with me. Oops, sorry about that. Go back to Pick Physics. The other thing we can do with that, I'll have some screencasts here. So this also are places where I have the videos of either review sessions or instructions, tutorials, things like that, homework solutions. Usually students find that really useful. And then finally, there'll be a link to the physics classroom under here, which is our main online resource. So hopefully you find that fairly useful. Like I say, the big things are going to be Google Classroom and my website. For those of you in my class as students, it'll be Google Classroom. The parents can't access that, so it'll be my website. So I'm going to quit out of that, and I'm going to quit out of that.